Okay. Yeah. Okay, so guys, thank you for Daphne to answer Gewa's question. Predicting the end of the story. Predicting the end of the story, since a narrative paragraph, a narrative could be someone else experience or someone else story, that we are not ourselves be the ones who are inside the story. So we could predict what the story will end, yeah. That could be also a conclusion. Even a conclusion could be also a question that we will leave to the readers to think about, to wonder, to what is it? Yeah, to wonder about, related to the end of the story. Yeah, that will make the reader keep on thinking about what would he or she think about after he has gone through the story, and then what would be the next happen. Yeah. And actually, guys, that is also one thing that you are going to do after this. I mean, after our Zoom meeting, but I'm going to talk about that later. Yeah. Related to your next assignment, which is making a narrative paragraph, a narrative text, yeah, with your group members, and you will need to discuss about the alternative new ending for a specific story that you will pick together as a group. Now, okay, so that was one question responded, okay, by group one. One more question, please, that hasn't been responded by group one on the Moodle.
Maybe Nikki, Elsa, or Ben can answer it.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah, take turn, yeah. Okay.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear my voice, ma'am? Okay, so I will try to to answer. Sorry, I will try to answer question. So I will read it first. um, does sorry, I will read the the response first. My two thumbs up go to this aesthetic, cool, and great presentation. Thank you for your hard work. Anyways, I have a question regarding to the material that you guys have delivered. As we can see in the video, one of the uniqueness of narrative text is that it starts at the beginning and ends at the end. Does this mean that narrative text can only use one timelet or plot, like we can only use chronological plot, alur maju? So actually in narrative text, we can find other kind of plot, atau kita bisa menemukan alur yang lain gitu. As we learn in bahasa Indonesia also that there are some other kinds of plot, atau ada beberapa jenis alur gitu. There is alur maju, alur mundur, dan juga alur maju mundur atau campuran. So that's why there are sorry there are some other plot in descriptive text. Sorry, narrative text. It will also answer Brian's question. Like he also asked about, is it possible the chronological order being swept? So yeah, it is possible. Like you can find in some film or story nowadays that the writer or the producer of the film or story love to give us some surprise or maybe some, what is it, some plot twist, um, like some flashback, and also, yeah, something like that. So yeah, it is possible to swap the chronological order in narrative text. So that's all from me, ma'am. Sorry, my voice is kind of, yeah, kind of different because I don't really, yeah, lagi nggak kurang sehat. Sorry.
You don't
Thank
really
you.
feel well today, Ben?
Yes, ma'am. I don't know, but when I woke up, my body is very heavy. So yeah, I just try to attend the class. So yeah.
Can you hear my voice, everyone? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, good. Yes. Get well soon, Ben, said everyone here. Okay. Yeah, but the rooster behind you looks very healthy because we can hear the roosters roar, the roosters sound very clearly from here. Yeah. Okay. Test. Please let me know, guys, if you cannot hear my voice clearly. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the plot, the plot as actually the heartbeat of this narrative text, a narrative story or a narrative, okay? So the plot, just like what Ben mentioned, yes, of course we can play with the plot even because that is the purpose of a narrative, isn't it? To entertain, to make people really can see or observe or even as if they were in the story, right? So we need to depict, we need to try to make the readers or our listeners or our readers, to really get in tune every aspect that we are telling about in the narrative, right? So even the plot, if the plot can be as interesting as it could be, that would be the best thing that a narrativist, a writer of a narrative can do. Yeah, the use of word choices that the narrator can use, that is also another thing. Yeah, but the heartbeat of a narrative is actually lying down on the plot, which Elsa and Ben also explained in the PowerPoint slides in the presentation that they had, that the plot includes some, some stages, or if I may, some structures, that make this narrative paragraph also unique compared to other types of paragraphs, if Elsa and Ben can still hear me. If Elsa and Ben can still hear me, could you please review a little bit about what structure that we can find in a narrative text or in a narration, a narrative, a story that you have just explained, and one of the structure is the plot itself. Yeah. Okay, Elsa or Ben? I will also ask questions to Nikita as well. Yeah, don't worry, Nikita. Related to the question that I give to Ben and Elsa right now. Ben or Elsa, could you please review and refresh our mind again related to the structure of a narrative paragraph that must be in the story, that a narrative must have? Okay, or can any one of the participants help to type in the chat box? Yeah, what would be the structure? Or if I may try to give clues for all of you, what might be the elements that should be there in the narrative paragraph or in the narrative? What should be there? Elsa, at the beginning of the presentation, she explained about this, but not really in a, what is it? Yeah, in a within a visual or explanation Yes, the key idea. Okay, characters, plot, setting. Yes, thank you, Vero. Yes, exactly. So character, setting, and then the key idea that includes everything here, right? The key idea is mainly what the paragraph is talking about, or is talked about. Okay, and then the plot. Now, the plot itself has some structure that will make the story even more fascinating to read. What are those parts in the plot that can make the story more interesting to read, everyone? Or group one, ayo, Ben and Elsa, you are the one who are expert in explaining this, right? Plot. Ben mentioned also that the uniqueness of a narrative paragraph is in that everything is united, right? Unified, united, and all the actions develop the the central idea of the paragraph. The plot also rising action, climax, and falling action. Very good. Thank you, Rani. Yes, the plot includes the escalation of actions, right? Started from the right action, yeah, what happened at the beginning of the story, with the characters, with the setting also, right? That's why characters are and settings are the two most important parts also in a paragraph. I mean, in a narrative paragraph. Rising action and climax, what happened in the character also, right? The problem had by the character, and then it goes up to the climax. This is when the problem reaches its peak, just like what Ben explained also in the presentation, right? And when the character can resolve the problem, then there you go. We can see that the story will nearly towards the end, which is called in the falling action category, right? Yeah. Resolution will be the last part of the plot. Yeah, it's when everything has been settled, the character has resolved the problem, and we can see the end of the story. Yeah. Now I want to ask Nikita now. From the example that you displayed, okay, there were two examples, right, that you displayed at the end of the presentation. The first example is about my wedding, and then the second one is about legend, right, Surah and Baya, yeah, Surabaya. Now, can you please explain to us how does this plot, okay, how does this plot, like from the rising action, problem, climax, falling action, and resolution happen or displayed in the example number one, which is the wedding? If you can show to your friends the example that you displayed on your presentation, you may screen share.
Okay, ma'am, I will share first.
So as what group one, a narrative paragraph, a narrative can also depict some experience, and this is Nikita's personal experience about her wedding. No,
No, ma'am.
my wedding. Okay, so let's see. How does the plot run, or how can we see the plot from rising action, problem, conflict, yeah, and then climax, falling action, resolution. Yeah.
Ma'am. So at first, I would like to tell that the paragraph is using past continuous, because the past continuous can be tell something that in progress, or maybe the background actions. And this paragraph about my wedding is telling her experience about the wedding. So I would like to say that the plot would be the feeling of the wedding. So the plot is the wedding day. So it was back then. Yes, it's back then. about the wedding day. And for the climax, it would be the feeling of the wedding. It's like she said that it still felt romantic. She still feel about the romanticness of the wedding day. So she tell us about what happened in the wedding day. It's like my dress was hanging on the closed door, or about her mother in cooking breakfast in the kitchen, and the coffee was brewing, and also about her father feeling nervous. And the following action is actually kind of like the resolutions, but in narrative text, resolution is kind of optional because they have a lot of categories like legend, personal experience, and fairy tale, folk tale. So for this one, it might be not something that we want to tell the moral value, but we want to know, we want to see how the writer feel about her wedding day. So that's why the falling action or the end of the story is telling that she thinks that her father was feeling nervous. So it's about the writer feeling or assumptions about her father. So maybe the climax is about the wedding day, and she end it with her assumptions about her father. That's why the end is talking about how her father is feeling nervous about the wedding day. That's why I think the personal experience is not using resolution as the end of the stories, but its conclusion. And the conclusion is not to restate about the topic, the orientation, but it's to tell the writer assumptions about the story. I think that's mine.
Okay, so can you please go to the example number 2, which is clearer, I think, yeah? I mean example number 2, yes. Yeah, this is the legend. We can clearly see here, right? Yeah, how the character Sura and Baya, what happened to them at the beginning, and then how the problem rose, right? Yeah. Okay, wait, Devina, yeah. So how the problem rose, okay, how Sura and Baya had a fight, and then how did they eventually, fight between them was actually the climax of this legend, right? Yeah, and then how Sura and Baya could could find the meeting point in the middle, yeah, win-win solution. So Sura live in the water, Baya live in the land. So by doing that, they won't fight anymore, right? Yeah. But one day there is a rising action again. So 2 times rising action here. One day Sura went to the land, looked for food. There is no much food in the sea, and then Baya was also Baya was angry, seeing Sura wanted to find food in his area, and then they fought again, right? They both hit each other and blah, blah, blah. And that's the climax, the second climax, yeah. And then after that, they bite their tail together, each other. And the end of the story, we can see that Sura and Baya, they bite its tail each other, and then that's how we can find Sura and Baya as the symbol of Surabaya city, right? Yeah. Okay, so from this legend, we can see very clearly how the structure of a narrative paragraph or a narrative of a legend can be seen, right? But from the previous example, I don't know, I'm not so sure whether that is only the, the bride's assumption of his father feeling nervous about her wedding. Who is supposed to be nervous? Who is supposed to feel nervous? Is it the bride or the father of the bride? I don't know, okay? Okay, you can stop screen share, Nikita. Yeah, so what I would like to point out is when you are trying to what is it? Yeah, to show or to share a story, yeah, that is typically chronologically order. Okay, you may need to make sure that the story really is in line. Okay, the ideas are comprehensive, coherent, and cohesive to each other. Okay, and specifically about narrative paragraph, I'm going to share you one video that you can watch after this live session, yeah, that might give you a clearer picture of how the structure of a narrative paragraph should have. Okay, and by following the structure, actually we can also display a story, okay, or a paragraph that can make people understand how the story goes. Okay, started from exposition, okay, and then the raising action, when the what the problem is happened or had by the characters, okay, and then how the problem reaches its peak, and how the falling action, and how the resolution is all about. Okay, there will be also some examples that you can see from the video. Okay, so my last question for group 1, actually, that is related also related to the structure, actually. And Nikita just now already answered my question that I posted on the Moodle. Yeah. And by the way, guys, a narrative can be also a personal experience had by someone. Yeah, even from legend or folktale or what else. Yeah, a story that has this structure, that has a climax and a resolution, actually, if we can see any kind of picture, any kind of stories in this world, in any forms, I mean, yeah, if we can see really the essence of why each story is designed to reach a goal, yeah, which is to, I believe, a narrative story is not only to entertain people, to attract people to the central topic, central idea of the story itself, yeah, but it could also to motivate people, yeah, whenever they have like failures in life, and then we are trying to create a story that can motivate them so that they can be motivated, they can be encouraged to raise up from their failures. Okay, that would be so great, because a narrative is actually related to the grand narrative story that you are very familiar with. Yeah, and that's why a grand narrative story is related to how God has designed our life timelines, yeah, according to his plan. So therefore, yeah, if we could have a chance to share to the world about our personal story, our personal narrative, yeah, where we can share to the world that God has designed even beyond our limitations, regarding to our life story, that God's story, his story is above our own story, that would be so great, guys. Okay, so I think that is what I can say about a narrative paragraph. You may see the video coming out that I'm going to share to your to our WhatsApp group, yeah, after this. And